There has always been a frontier in the American story, a line between the known and the unknown, the settled and the sought after. For centuries, that frontier was a physical place, a westward horizon promising land, freedom, and reinvention. The story of America was a story of arrival, of people coming from every corner of the globe to build a life on the foundation of a single powerful idea: the American dream. It was a promise whispered across generations that with hard work, anyone could achieve prosperity, security, and a better future for their children. But what happens when the frontier within a nation's own borders begins to feel exhausted? What happens when the promise feels broken? In the 21st century, a new American frontier is emerging, but this one is not found by heading west. It's found in the departure lounges of JFK, LAX, and O'Hare. It's a frontier that lies across oceans. According to the U.S. State Department, an estimated 9 million American citizens now live overseas, a population larger than that of many states. This is not a story of a few wealthy elites or wandering bohemians. It is a quiet, sustained exodus of the American middle class: nurses, engineers, teachers, entrepreneurs, and entire families. They're packing up not just their belongings but their hopes and seeking to plant them in foreign soil. This is not a story of rejection but of a search for affordability in a world of crushing costs, a search for community in an age of bitter division, a search for safety, for balance, and for a future they feel is slipping away at home. This is the story of the new American pioneers and the complex, often painful reasons why they believe the American dream is now located somewhere else.
The numbers tell a stark story. In the mid-20th century, the average home cost about 2 to 3 times the average annual salary. Today, the national average is over 7 times. And in major economic hubs like California, Colorado, and Massachusetts, that ratio climbs into the double digits. This isn't a simple case of inflation. It's a fundamental decoupling of the cost of shelter from the value of labor. Compounding this is a systemic shift in the market itself. In the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, large private equity firms and corporate investors began buying up vast portfolios of single-family homes, converting them from potential assets for families into rental units for their balance sheets. In some cities, these corporate landlords are now the single largest owners of residential property, outbidding families with all-cash offers and further shrinking the available supply. The psychological toll is immense. It creates a permanent feeling of being behind, of being locked out of the very stability your parents and grandparents took for granted. The search for a home abroad is often a search for a place where this fundamental part of life is still accessible. In countries like Spain, Portugal, or even parts of Italy, an American family with a modest remote income can often afford a home that would be utterly unimaginable in the United States. They are not seeking mansions. They are seeking the simple, profound security of a place to call their own, a security they feel has been priced out of the American dream. Section 3. The Healthcare Dilemma, a system of fear. There is a unique and pervasive anxiety in American life that is almost incomprehensible to citizens of other developed nations. It is the fear of getting sick. Not just the fear of illness itself, but the fear of its financial consequences. The American healthcare system is a paradox, the most expensive in the world, yet it consistently underperforms on key metrics like life expectancy and infant mortality, while leaving millions uninsured or underinsured.
The system's reliance on employer-sponsored insurance creates a precarious situation many call golden handcuffs. Millions of Americans remain in jobs they are unhappy or unfulfilled in, simply because they cannot risk losing health coverage for their families. The freedom to be an entrepreneur, to switch careers, or to take time off to care for a loved one is severely curtailed by this dependency. Even for those with so-called good insurance, the reality is one of high deductibles, copays, and surprise out-of-network bills that can lead to financial ruin. Medical debt is the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States, a phenomenon that is virtually non-existent in countries with universal healthcare systems. A single diagnosis, a car accident, or a premature birth can instantly wipe out a lifetime of savings. For the Americans who leave, this is a primary driver. They are moving to countries where healthcare is treated as a fundamental human right, not a consumer product. They speak of the profound, life-altering relief of knowing that a medical emergency will not result in a financial one. It is the freedom from fear, the freedom to live without the constant background hum of anxiety, knowing that if the worst happens, there is a system in place to catch them. The debt anchor, a future mortgaged. If the dream is about moving forward, debt is the anchor holding millions in place. For generations of Americans, higher education was the clearest path to upward mobility. Today, it has become a trap. The cost of college has skyrocketed, rising at a rate far exceeding inflation or wage growth. The result is a national student loan debt crisis exceeding $1.7 trillion. This isn't just a number. It's a fundamental reordering of a young person's life. Graduates begin their careers not at zero, but deep in a financial hole. This debt delays major life milestones: buying a home, getting married, starting a family, and saving for retirement. It stifles risk-taking and entrepreneurship. It forces a generation to prioritize their past over investing in their future.
This debt burden is compounded by a reliance on consumer debt to bridge the gap between stagnant wages and the rising cost of living. Credit cards, auto loans, and buy now, pay later schemes have become necessary tools for survival, creating a fragile financial ecosystem where one missed paycheck can trigger a cascade of consequences. Many who leave are fleeing this cycle. They see a different model in other countries, where education is considered a public good, not a private liability. They move to places where their children can get a world-class education without being saddled with a lifetime of debt. They are choosing a future for their families that is not preemptively mortgaged. It is a search for a clean slate, a chance to build a life based on opportunity, not obligation. The erosion of the social contract, division, and distrust. Beyond the financial pressures, a deeper, more painful motivation is compelling Americans to look for an exit. The feeling that the country itself is coming apart. The social fabric, once woven with threads of shared purpose and communal trust, feels frayed and tattered. Political polarization has transcended policy debate and has become a matter of tribal warfare. Research from institutions like the Pew Research Center confirms that the divide is not just ideological, but emotional and personal. Americans are increasingly sorting themselves into geographic and digital echo chambers, where they are shielded from opposing views and their animosity toward the other side is reinforced. This constant state of conflict poisons the well of public life. School board meetings devolve into screaming matches over books and curriculum. A public health crisis becomes a political litmus test. Even neighborly interactions can be fraught with suspicion. Many who leave describe a profound sense of exhaustion, a weariness from living in a society that feels perpetually angry and on edge.
This division has led to a catastrophic collapse of trust. Trust in government, in the media, in scientific institutions, and even in the electoral process itself has plummeted to historic lows. When a society can no longer agree on a basic set of facts, it loses its ability to solve collective problems. For many, the search for a new home is a search for a society with a higher baseline of social trust and a stronger sense of the common good. It is not about finding a perfect utopia, but about finding a place where the fundamental assumption is that everyone is, more or less, on the same team. The search for safety, a unique American burden. There is a weight that many Americans carry every day, a low-grade fear that is a product of a uniquely American reality. It is the risk of random, explosive violence. The United States has a level of gun violence that is without parallel in the developed world. The rate of firearm homicides is orders of magnitude higher than in Western Europe, Canada, Australia, or Japan. Mass shootings and almost weekly tragedy in America are shocking, once-in-a-generation events in other peer nations. For parents, this is not an abstract political issue. It is the heart-wrenching reality of active shooter drills becoming a routine part of the school day. It's the normalization of teaching 5-year-olds to hide in closets and stay silent. It is the flash of anxiety in a crowded movie theater, grocery store, or public park. It's the subconscious act of mapping out exit strategies in any public space. When American families move abroad, the lifting of this psychological burden is often the most profound and immediate change they experience. They speak of a sense of peace they didn't even realize they were missing. It's the freedom from a fear that many had come to accept as a non-negotiable part of American life. For these families, the argument is not about the Second Amendment. It is about the fundamental right to live and to raise children in a society that does not require a constant calculation of mortal risk. Escaping the always-on culture, the burnout epidemic. The American work ethic has long been a source of national pride, a relentless drive for innovation and productivity. But in its modern incarnation, it has morphed into a pervasive hustle culture, an always-on mentality that has led to a national epidemic of burnout.
The United States is the only advanced economy in the world that does not have a federal law mandating paid vacation time or paid sick leave. While many companies offer it, millions of workers, particularly in lower wage and service jobs, have none. Even for professionals, taking time off is often stigmatized, and the pressure to be constantly available via technology blurs the line between work and life into non-existence. The goal is no longer just to do a job well, but to embody the job completely. Many who leave are in search of a different relationship with work. They are drawn to cultures where leisure is not a weakness, but an essential component of a healthy life. They discover countries where a 4 to 6 week paid holiday is the legal standard, where a proper hour-long lunch break away from one's desk is the norm, and where the purpose of work is understood to be to fund a life, not to consume it. They are not fleeing hard work. They are fleeing a culture of overwork that prioritizes corporate productivity over human well-being. They are in search of balance. The Great Enabler, the remote work revolution. For decades, the dream of living abroad was accessible primarily to the independently wealthy, the retired, or those who could secure a coveted corporate transfer. But a recent seismic shift has democratized the exodus, turning it from a niche fantasy into a viable option for millions. The remote work revolution. The global pandemic accelerated a trend that was already underway, proving that a vast number of professional jobs could be performed effectively from anywhere with a stable internet connection. This technological shift broke the geographic chains that tied a good salary to a high cost of living city. Suddenly, an American earning a San Francisco or New York salary could realize they didn't have to live with a San Francisco or New York cost of living. Governments around the world have been quick to recognize this new class of mobile talent. Dozens of countries have created digital nomad visas, specifically designed to attract remote workers who bring their foreign-earned income into the local economy. This has created a clear, legal pathway for Americans to relocate. The great enabler is technology. It has provided the practical means for people to act on their dissatisfaction, allowing them to keep their American careers and salaries while pursuing a higher quality of life at a lower cost abroad.
A different future, investing in the next generation. For many American families, the decision to emigrate is not just about their own well-being, but is a calculated, long-term investment in the future of their children.
They look at the landscape their children will inherit in the U.S. and see a steeper, more precarious path than the one they had. This investment takes many forms. It means choosing countries with superior, more equitable public education systems where the quality of a child's schooling is not determined by the wealth of their zip code. It means access to affordable, often free, higher education, liberating their children from the certainty of starting their adult lives with crippling debt. Furthermore, it's about choosing societies with stronger social safety nets. This includes universal health care, subsidized child care, and more generous family leave policies, which provide a foundation of stability that allows families to thrive, not just survive. It's the assurance that one unfortunate event will not derail their children's future. Beyond the practicalities, these parents are choosing a different kind of inheritance for their children, a global perspective. They want to raise their children as world citizens, fluent in other languages, comfortable in different cultures, and with a more nuanced understanding of America's place in the world. It is a profound act of hope, a belief that by changing their children's geography, they can fundamentally expand their horizons and provide them with a more resilient, adaptable, and enriched future.
The New Frontier, a redefinition of success. The conclusion. The story of the American exodus is not a simple one. It is not an indictment of every aspect of the United States. The country remains a global center of innovation, a place of immense natural beauty and home to millions of resilient, kind, and hardworking people. But this outward migration is a powerful signal, a canary in the coal mine for the American dream. It is a living referendum on whether the nation is delivering on its own foundational promise. These new pioneers are not anti-American. In fact, their journey is born of the most American of impulses, the pursuit of happiness and the courage to journey into the unknown in search of a better life. They are redefining success itself. The dream is evolving from a narrow pursuit of material wealth to a more holistic vision of well-being, one that includes financial security, physical safety, community, work-life balance, and peace of mind. The frontier has not closed. It has simply moved. The American dream has not died. It has gone global. For the 9 million Americans who now hold a U.S. passport but call another country home, the search for that dream continues, one exit stamp at a time. And their stories challenge the nation they left behind to ask a difficult question. Is the American dream still best pursued within America's borders?